Hello, welcome everyone to the Heated Table, where if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So tonight we have a very heated discussion at our actual working heated table. And yeah, my name is May. I'll be facilitating tonight's discussion here with our co-hosts.
My name is Onion.
I'm Cash.
Ami. So I'm very excited for tonight's theme. Our theme is Isekai. For those of you who don't know, Isekai is usually a subgenre of fantasy which involves a person or persons being transported into a different world. Isekai means exactly that. It's Japanese for other world. This person usually has all their thoughts and previous knowledge of the world that they lived in before. And two of the webtoons that we're reading today has a character that is living in a world different from their own. And I just want to have a little disclaimer, not all of our webtoons today are isekai, even though our theme is isekai, because we kind of switched around some of the webtoons that we were doing for today. Our appetizer, for the sake of Sita, is not an isekai genre. However, it does involve a character who is transported into a different time. So yeah, let's just get started, I guess.
But before that, we are not sponsored.
No, we're not.
We're not sponsored, but if you want to drink what we're drinking, we are drinking First Harvest. Wait, let me do what the beauty YouTubers do. Yeah, you know.
If we were sponsored, this would be a lot smoother.
Yeah, anyway, we're drinking First Harvest Goodnight Rubus. And the reason why we're drinking Sleepy Time tea is because we're doing isekai fantasy. This is like bedtime story vibes, you know. That's why we're all in our pajamas right now. So, very nice.
Just for you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So let's get started. So our appetizer, for the sake of Sita. So a little bit of information about it. It has 27 million views, has about 200,000 subscribers, and a rating of 9.5. So this is a really short webtoon. It's about 12 chapters long. But let me read the synopsis. A medical student passionately falls in love with a fallen goddess during his volunteer abroad in Nepal. And he desperately tries to fight off destiny to save his love. Ooh, very fancy, very fancy. I'm not sure exactly who suggested this one. I think it was Cash, right? Yeah, it was very short, very sweet, very heartwarming. So I do want to note that this webtoon is based off of Nepalese culture. The main female protagonist, Sita, becomes a Kumari when she's young. So because this webtoon has a lot of Nepalese culture, I took a little bit of snippet from like Wikipedia, and this is like a shortened form of it to just give us a brief summary about what one of the main focuses of the story is. So this is the description or the summary. Kumari is the tradition of worshipping a chosen virgin as manifestations of the divine goddess or Devi in dharmic religious traditions. The word Kumari is derived from Sanskrit, meaning princess. In Nepal, a Kumari is a I can't say that word, honestly.
What's prepubescent?
Yeah, prepubescent. In Nepal,
Same.
In Nepal, a Kumari is a
Prepubescent? Just point out and I'll say it for you.
Thank you. Selected from the Shakya caste of the Nepalese Newadi Buddhist community. So this doesn't happen all over Nepal. It happens in specific, like some communities around Nepal. While there are several Kumaris throughout Nepal, the best known is the royal Kumari, and she lives in the palace in the center of the city. The selection process for her is especially rigorous. In Kathmandu Valley, this is a particularly prevalent practice. The Kumari is believed to be the incarnation of Telugu, a manifestation of the goddess Durga. When her first menstruation begins, it is believed that the deity vacates her body. Serious illness or major loss of blood from an injury also causes loss of deity. So now on to our questions. And I think you guys have your character summaries up to, which this webtoon only has a couple characters, so not too bad. So because this webtoon is pretty short, I want to just kind of focus more on the story today and a little bit more on the characters, but more focus on the story today and like the meaning behind it. So my first question.
Yes.
How did each of you feel when you started reading the story, while you were in the middle of the story, and by the end of the story?
In the beginning of the story, it wasn't much feeling. It was just like, oh, this, like, could they introduce a girl who was a Kumari and then was left out, because what stops them from being a Kumari is when they have their first menstrual period, because they think whatever blood leaves from your body is impure. So she was considered impure and was abandoned from the temple. So that was the first. It was kind of like, oh, rip. And then in the middle of the story, it was very hopeful, I would say. Very happy for how the guy who went back in time to save the love of his life and guide her and have her have a better future. And then at the end, it wasn't sad. It was not heartbreaking, but like it was like
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was bittersweet, but it was a very good ending. That was my roller coaster of emotions.
For me, I wasn't really sure what to expect when I started reading. I had gone into the story without really knowing anything about it. So when I started reading it, I thought it was pretty interesting that it was based off of Nepalese, tradition. So I hadn't known anything about the tradition before reading this. I did read a little bit up on it, not a ton, but I did read up a little bit on it after I was done reading all 12 episodes, because this is a pretty short webtoon, to see like where were the inaccuracies, because it definitely doesn't
Just dramatized.
It's very drama. It definitely does not follow like strictly as what the real real tradition in Nepal happens. It doesn't really follow that to the T, but it's definitely very drama. But it was entertaining, but I think it is definitely a reminder, like all the things that you read in media is not an accurate representation of the real world. So, but yeah, it was good. I liked it. The beginning, I felt a little bit, I wasn't sure what to expect in the middle. I was kind of getting like, red flags. I was like, oh my God, is this guy going to become a pedophile? Like, let's not go there. But, he ended up just being like a grandpa figure to her and guiding Sita. So, and then at the end, like it was bittersweet, like Onion said, just because he still sacrificed himself for her to have a good life. But, it's bittersweet because he's not experiencing those emotions. He's experiencing it as like a parental like guardian figure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think you kind of, once you get to the ending, you're like, oh yeah, you kind of sign up for this.
mm-hmm.
Because okay, in the beginning, all I could think about was her, because it kind of does say a little bit of like, all people think of you is as like an ex-prostitute. And I was like, damn. Like, what would that be like? But also you begin afresh, starting in a new country. So that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, good for her. And then in the middle, she dies. So when he goes to the temple and it says, would you give up? And then it's like the parentheses. And you don't know what he's giving up. But then like the story is called For the Sake of Sita. So he gives up his Sita. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
his like version of her.
Yeah.
And goes back in time. That's what I thought was interesting. I was kind of confused throughout most of the story, but then by the end, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It clicks.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he definitely does give up his version of Sita in order for her to, have a better life. It's an interesting concept.
Weird though, because he also like almost recreates the same version of Sita that he had.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Because he's like, this is what you used to say. And this is how you used to be.
Yeah, the stuff that she told him in like basically a past life. The stuff that she told him in the past life, he's now telling her, but then she's saying it. So it's like, oh my God, it's kind of a loop.
It's
I don't know how
her,
to
but it's
explain
not really her.
Right. It's kind of crazy. Different timelines, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Dimensions.
I'm gonna skip around a little bit. So after Sita dies, Sungmin basically makes a deal with the goddess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think the goddess is supposed to be the original goddess of like Durga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the goddess, that goddess is who manifests in the Kumari, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes back in time and meets like time, but he like, because he goes back in time, he also gets older, right?
Mm-hmm.
He sacrifices his time and his, I guess, young life. Youth, basically, in a way, for him to go back in time a couple years, right? Because that's what I thought. Like, he aged up quite a bit, right? And then goes back, so...
What's your point?
I'm just saying, like, that's how I understood the story. Is that
yeah.
okay?
I feel like it's so. I guess if I was in his position, it wasn't more like, oh, I'm losing her because I'm giving her up to somebody else. It's more like he loved her when she was older, right? Like, oh, this is my wife, and now he showed another. I like how they showed different types of love.
Yeah.
How he showed love as like a significant other, as a lover, and then showed love as a parental figure. And I felt it was so cruel of how they literally, after she bled, and then they automatically kicked her out of the temple, and then she doesn't know how to read, she doesn't know how to write, doesn't know her language, and then she literally knows nothing. It's like if we were, let's say we suddenly aged 10 years, like we went to a coma, slept for 10 years and woke up, and then we're just off on our own, like 18 years old, now you're just have to make a living.
To go off of that, when she was younger, she didn't really know her expectation of her parents was to become a Kumari to save her younger brother, right? But she didn't really understand the implications or what her future might be for choosing that kind of path. But at the same time, was her path already pre-chosen just because of the way she was born? But I feel like sometimes parents put us in that position where they put expectations on us as young children, and then oftentimes we grow up and we're like, oh, that kind of screwed me up. So there's a little bit of that in that too.
Or even like society, like taxes. Dude, like after high school and after college, and then you get a job, filing your taxes is such a daunting task because you can easily mess up. And what if you get tax fraud? You know? So I still don't know how to do my taxes, right? So, it's wild.
Okay, so I know, but the fact that they like already know the information and we still gotta file it, like, that's all I gotta say.
I think for Sita, like, part of what made her character though is the selflessness. Like that was always part of her character and why she was so willing to go through that to help her brother, but also even help the people that she was competing against. Yeah. Which the other girlie made like very obvious. I liked how I was rooting for her. But yeah, like I think it was kind of, I don't know. I feel like it maybe is a story about love. Even though I was also like, is this gonna get weird?
Yeah, I know. I got scared for a second. I was just like, please don't go that route. But definitely shows
the different kinds of love.
Yeah, different kinds of love. And sacrifice. Different kinds of sacrifice.
Even him though, like he had his whole life ahead of him still. Like he just got married. He was a doctor so he could make good money, and he chose to sacrifice all of that to go back to try to help her.
Right.
Okay, I have one more question. So in the beginning of the story, we see that Songmin, he like gives, when he meets Sita, and then they spend a year together basically before she suddenly dies. And I think about this sometimes. Yeah. I know not all of us have significant others, but would you want to die before your SO, or would you want to die after your SO?
I want to die before. I even told my parents, I was like, what if I just died before you guys did? And I asked them questions like, oh, what would you do if I got hit by a car? What would you do if I like got kidnapped and things like that? Or I asked them, oh, what if I just like, disappeared? And they said, oh, no, first they get really mad and they don't answer my question. They go like, what if I drown? What would you do? That's a stupid question. But yeah, I think I'm a type of person, I know the feeling it would feel to lose someone really, really close. So instead of me going through that pain, I was just like,
have them go through that pain.
So you would want to go. You would want to go away first.
I would want to go away first, but at the same time, I know I wouldn't want to bestow that feeling towards them.
It's too late. You already made your choice.
I would rather die before my significant other.
Okay.
Your significant other can suffer.
Me too.
Yeah, I think.
And if you have to like reframe it about like your parents or whatever, that would work too. The same way that Onion reframed it.
I don't know.
The question kind of reminds me of Mom, I'm sorry.
Right. I don't know if, I wouldn't want to have them go through the feeling of grief because grief is hard. So, but then me saying that is kind of like,
I don't want to go through grief either.
That too, but you saying I don't want them to go through grief was technically me implying that they would probably die before me, right? So
right.
I'm technically saying that they would have to die. You know, with that question. But
Well, you're not saying they would have to die, but you would.
But it's implying that they would die. If I chose not to die, then they're gonna die.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't want them to go through grief, but at the same time, they're dying. So that's also painful. I guess, yeah, I wouldn't want them to go through grief. So technically, I'm saying they would die before me.
Yeah.
You would want your
Yeah.
person, whoever,
die
to
before
die before
me.
you. What about you, Cash?
I don't know. I feel like it's a hard question because like we can die any day. Like it's really just random. If I like had to pick though, yeah, I'd probably want to die first. Like they can be sad. Like I don't want to be sad.
Yeah, right. It's selfish, but at the same time, it's like, honestly though, still.
Yeah, it's 50-50. So
Yeah, everyone suffers.
may the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah.
Just out here.
I asked my boyfriend this last night while I was putting these notes together.
So emo.
And he was like, "Oh, I would want you to die first because."
I mean, I know it's the question, but just like him saying that.
I know, but he was like, "Oh, I want you. I wouldn't want." He's like, "I don't want you to suffer, so I would want you to. I would want to live longer than you, so that you don't have to suffer." And
He
then,
said, I'm gonna get remarried, bro.
and then I told him, wait, I would want you. Like, I would want to live longer than you.
That's what you told him.
Yeah. So we both like want to live longer than each other, so that we both don't. have,
immortal? No, I'm joking.
so that we both don't have to experience like grief. Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's so
it was
cute.
interesting that we had the same like, oh, we don't want each other to experience the loss of one another, so we would want to live longer.
Immortality.
But yeah, I think that wraps up our discussion for this webtoon. It's very short. I highly recommend it. It's only 12 chapters long, so if you get the chance, go ahead and read it.
Or if you have already read it, then good job.
Good job. What are your thoughts, TBH?
Us or
The viewers. I'm curious.
This webtoon's pretty short, so there isn't like a lot to go off of, but there's still a lot of there's so much like
There's a lot of layers.
yeah, there's a lot of layers.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. So
I'm curious about the author. Like, is the author Nepalese or are they Korean? That's what I want to know. Because I feel like who the author is really going to change my perception on it. Like, if the author is Nepalese,
I feel like the author might be Korean because the main guy is from Korea.
the
Yeah.
mom was from Korea.
so I wonder. It kind of would change my
Check
perception.
the author's
How so?
name.
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.
Like, it would make it less enjoyable for you if it was not a...
It's not that it's less enjoyable. It's just interesting, I'd say.
That they chose Nepalese culture as a topic, or
I guess it's kind of random.
this
in a
is also
sense.
pretty old webtoon too. It's came out in what 2011 or something. I don't know when it came out. It came out pretty early on in like webtoons.
Yeah.
And from when I was reading the comments, apparently it won like a competition, which is why it was published as.
I mean, it's really good.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's not
And
gonna.
it's like short because it was for a competition.
I think it's also a little bit like, I don't know. I think the inclusion of the red light district and her disease and how she got sick, but also like the children that she would later on help, is very real. Of being like, she had such a good life, and then eventually ended up in the red light district, which made her life kind of go downhill after getting sick. But like that was just their reality for a lot of the children.
Right.
Poor countries, like there's a lot of poverty. Even rich countries, there's poverty.
there's poverty.
So
Yeah. So like, it wouldn't. It's not gonna change my perception in like a bad way, but it's just very interesting if.
there's like unique insight.
Yeah. Like, I wonder what the author has been through. Like, if the author has a connection to Nepalese culture, or, you know, it makes me really curious what the author's been through.
Yeah.
Cool.
For the sake of Sita. Okay, our next one, our entree, rewriting the Villainess. So this is an isekai. Isekai. Yes. It has 5.6 million views. It has about 320,000 subscribers, and the rating's at 9.6. Commander Liza Mary of the Imperial Knights returns victorious to the Empire of Phaeton after a long war to subjugate an enemy kingdom. But little did she know that her beloved fiancé, Ilian, would leave her for Flora, the princess of the fallen enemy kingdom. After drinking herself into a heartbroken stupor that night, Liza awakens to the modern world in the body of a timid high schooler, Doyen. Puzzled and confused, Liza seeks to find out what happened and return to her own world, aided by Doyen's friends Ian and Laura, who suspiciously look like Ilian and Flora. So this story is kind of interesting because it's an isekai, but it's a reverse isekai. It's not the usual format that we see where the main character goes to a fantasy world. It's the main character goes to a modern world. But yeah, that leads me to my first question. Is this really isekai or is it like a slice of life?
Oof.
I think it's isekai.
I would say, yeah, reverse isekai.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You still think it's isekai, even though it's like really pushing the slice of life.
Slice of life vibes.
It's pushing the slice of life.
So slice of life vibes.
Really pushing the slice of life genre. Why do you think the author decided? This is where my real first question comes in. Why do you think the author decided to approach it in this format?
Because there's too many isekais.
Not enough isekai.
There is not enough.
I have seen a couple reverse isekais, and I have enjoyed them, but I've seen them in drama format.
Oh, okay.
I think the first isekai that I ever heard, read, saw was, and I hate to say this, but it was Sword Art Online.
I think that was a lot of people's first isekai.
I think that was what popularized the genre.
It's good, but if you're gonna watch it, stop at the first half of the first season. You've seen enough. Let it be good.
Yeah, agree.
So I would consider this an isekai.
Yeah, it's an isekai.
I do like that it's like kind of chill.
Mm-hmm.
No one's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except maybe Liza.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's good. It's okay. I mean,
What?
wait. No, I mean, okay.
Okay, wait, pause. What do you like about it? And then what does Ami like about it? Or like not like about it? Because you're making faces right now.
I do kind of like the little romance aspect they got going on, which is honestly like probably one of the bigger storylines arcs that it has. Which it's not normal for an isekai to have like a love triangle. It's normally, well, it is normal for a love triangle to occur, I guess. But like normally it's also like, or you die, like figure out how to get out of here or you're dead. And that's not the case. And I like that. Why I gotta be stressed out over fictional people?
That's true. That's true. For me, I enjoy it. It's a fun read. I'd say it's like a casual read for me. Like I'm not super into it like Die Hard fan, you know? It's very slice of life. Because it's a reverse isekai, the moments of where they're referring back to her like original lifestyle, as in fantasy webtoon that she's in, when they refer back to that, it kind of, you know, keeps you interested, I feel like, because you're just like, wait, I want to know, like, we know her full story, but I want to know, like, now that she's experienced the modern world, what would she change about her story? Can she change her story? I know that.
Well, it's called rewriting the Villainess.
Right. So it's
and she
like,
made a deal with the original, like the real Doyen.
So it's kind of like keeping you hooked in, like, oh, how will this story be rewritten for Liza? So having those elements of her past world keeps it spicy for me. The real normal side, I don't know, slice of life just doesn't vibe with me. It's just because
Boring.
yeah, it's boring to me because I'm already living life. Why do I need to watch or read other people living life? Like, sure, the love triangle's cute and all, but
That's a valid point.
I don't know. Slice of life has never really been my cup of tea.
Okay, so we know Ami hates romance.
Okay, no.
Tomato.
Stop.
Ami hates slice of life.
Okay, I don't hate it. It's just not my genre of choice.
I like it, but it's not my favorite
Yeah.
isekai
See?
that I've read. I
Well,
think
yeah.
would probably be something that I binge, you know? I feel like I would, there isn't enough chapters for me to have an opinion, like a good opinion about
Like
it.
one
There's-
and done binge.
Yeah, there's 20 some chapters out. So I don't think there's enough substance to the story to make a good opinion about it. But I know like we are starting to learn a little bit more about the characters. The characters up until now feel a little bit one-dimensional to me. Besides Liza. Liza is the only one who seems to have a little bit more like three-dimensionality to her. So I want to see that carry on to some of the other characters. We can see where Liza's trauma from her childhood. I'm invested in that.
In her backstory.
Yeah,
I'm interested in Ilian and Flora. How does that happen?
Yes,
Y'all
that
are
too.
enemies. He started a war in your country and you're coming here being like, yeah, I'll fall in love with him. I feel like she's a villain. I don't know what's going on, but like, I'm like,
the readers of the story were saying, oh, people thought that Liza was the real like hero.
but that's because she was like a nice person, you know? But I'm saying, I don't think everyone is nice. I think Flora is
the
like
real
up to
villain.
something. I think she's actually a villain. If someone, listen, if there was a war in your country, in your city, in your town, you're the princess,
Yes.
living a good life.
Mhm, good life.
You get kidnapped. The person that kidnaps you is like, I'm falling in love with you. I'd be like, what?
I'd be like, you get away from me.
But people do fall in love with the kidnapper. It's
Yeah, it's called Stockholm Syndrome. It's not real. I'm just saying, if she's pretending, like, I just feel like it can't be real. Like, y'all barely know each other. He ruined your life. He ruined everyone who you know
And love.
and love. Like, he ruined all their lives. And you're just like, yeah, we'll get married.
Okay, you're spitting.
I'm just
valid.
saying.
Facts, no printer. That's all I gotta say.
This story could go many different ways. So Ian or Jihoon? Y'all care who she ends up with?
no.
Fuck, okay.
Do you care?
A little bit. I think it's interesting.
Okay, wait, let me pause. I guess I'm not reading it for the romance, I'm reading it for
Well, I feel like the romance is all it has.
It's important. So
but
Right now, I mean.
I know it's important, but at the same time, I would want her to almost find herself because, you know, Doyeon. Well, like real tea.
Okay, first of all,
No,
sorry.
No. Wait, let me finish. Okay, Do-yeon created Liza, right? And Liza's story, her path was for her to fall in love with Ilian, right? Reading her backstory, her mom basically set it up for her in a way where she's not worth anything unless she marries the royal, right?
Sorry about that stroke. Well, even Mina was like, maybe it's not love. Maybe it's like a different kind of love.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I want, basically where I'm going for this, if Do-yeon falls in love with the real Ian, you know, where his character's like based off of, then sure, that's T. However, if she wants to like, she's not really interested in him though. It doesn't seem like she's really interested in him. And then there's this other kid.
She blushes with him.
Yeah.
Her little heart to the little
Doki doki.
She kind of vibes with him. So like, part of me is just like, I want to see where this is going, but I don't have any solid chips yet.
This is your shit.
I have like rafts right now, but I just feel like if your heart goes doki doki,
There's something.
there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they both look out for her and that it's like completely over her head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering who got her the dress. I'm like,
Oh yeah, the outfit.
probably Jihoon though, because he's got money.
That's true.
But I also like that he's friends with her brother and was nice to him. Like, I feel like he's a good character. Ian and Laura, I feel like maybe weren't that good of friends to Doyeon. But we don't know enough.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm vibing.
because why is she still like bullied? Why is she still,
yeah, especially
all
if they're
this-
popular.
That leads up to my next question, and I want to hear a little bit more from you, Onion, because you haven't said that much. What do you think
I'm
about-
enjoying the conversation?
What do you think about the duality between Liza and the real Dolan?
Okay. First of all, the fact that she literally ran away from the author, Doyen.
The real Dolan.
The real Doyen. The fact that she literally runs away from her problems.
And then
Okay.
asks this
And
character
then
to-
asks this character she creates to fix it for her. Like, girl, I mean, I know going through struggle builds character development. Like, you put Liza through character development. Like, why can't you character develop yourself now? As I was reading, I mean, I know the webtoon kind of, you know, surfaces that and talks about it, points at it. But as I was reading before the webtoon, like, hinted at it, I was getting kind of annoyed. I was like, this girl really, like, making friends for you, cleaning up after all of your oil spills and all of your messes or whatever, and making you, like, not be loved, but, like, you know, just kind of stepping out of her own comfort zone of what the original...
Putting an effort into the relationships.
Putting effort into the relationships, stepping out of her comfort zone that she probably wouldn't have been able to do, and really making her be loved by people and actually showing people, love, yeah, and different characteristics.
Like what that grandma said on the beach?
Exactly. She has a lot to thank Liza for.
I think Liza also has a problem too. I think she's so dependent on her lover in the where her
original
origin,
story,
and that she's so adamant of. I think the only reason why she's going out talking to people is only because to get back to where she is.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
At first, it didn't start out legit, but then it slowly turned that way because, you know, emotions are volatile. Yeah, I think she still has a whole lot of other baggage she needs to deal with, even if she comes back. Let's say you're my lover, okay? And then you're like, oh, you should start trying to hang out with other people. I'm like, no. I'm going to sit with you. I'm going to eat food with you. I'm going to sleep with you. I'm going to only wake up when you wake up. I'm going to sleep only when you sleep, kind of thing like that. And then
codependence.
So you're like suffocated. Yeah. But I don't see that. I'm just like, wow, he ditched me for another lady. And so she puts blame on other people and doesn't think like, oh, I'm probably the problem that created this drift.
But in a way, Liza being in Do-Yun's body, right, is helping her work through that, right?
I would say...
Do you feel like...
I would say so, but she doesn't realize it yet. Like, she, maybe unconsciously, maybe little bit by little bit, but she's still on the forefront of, oh, I need to go back, I need to be with this man.
Well, I mean, what's the alternative?
Oh, yeah, because she can't stay in that world forever either. 'Cause she eventually does have to go back. So it's like, even if she does fall in love, creates a relationship with...
Even if she realizes she's actually built connections with these people, she's going to have to go back.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can see in, like, the later chapters that she's starting to put up that boundary, like, oh, why does it matter? Like, when they're at the beach and playing in the water, she's like, why does it all matter when I'm going to be leaving soon and I don't know when I'm going to be...
Yeah. I think that creates another whole lot of insecurities too of
it's sad,
like being able to not make connections with other people because you're just like, I'm gonna leave them anyway, so what's the whole point?
I kind of think Jihan is also having that same character development because he talked a lot about moving from school to school. His best friend being like the dog that he spent a lot of time with at his previous school, and I don't remember what else. So I feel like it's a coming of age story, and I think it's a coming of age story for multiple characters.
Do you guys think you know yourselves? Like you found yourselves?
No.
I think it's like a life journey.
It is.
Because you're always changing. And I think some people should put more effort into how they're changing.
Right. And into finding themselves.
Yeah.
Before they jump to other people. Like, you can become codependent on anything. Not just relationships, but objects, you know? It's really important to, like, look within first before looking without or outward.
Yeah.
You all know what
I mean. Okay, so where do you all think this story is going to go? Because I thought that this was interesting because usually when these types of isekais happen, not necessarily reverse isekai, but like isekai that involves the original character body switching.
It's like a full swap.
Yeah, full swap. You typically see the person, so in this case Do-Yun, you typically would see Do-Yun living in the fantasy world as well. The real Do-Yun has been stuck in this like dreamlike fantasy, dreamlike world basically, and has no idea how to get out.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of interesting that the author decided to do that. Like, here, just be stuck in this dreamlike fantasy. Unless is this dreamlike fantasy a way for her to look within?
I saw it as like a prison.
Yeah.
Like a pretty prison.
It seems like a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, when you're forced to be with your own thoughts, it do be a prison. So,
wow,
maybe
amen.
she is being forced.
Yeah.
Ooh, what position would you rather be in? Would you rather be thrust into an entire universe that you don't know?
Oh, yeah, that was one of my questions.
Oh. Or be stuck in a... Because she says that she can think of anything and it comes into like an actual thing, right? That's what Doyeon said. So would you rather live in a world where you can make anything you want? Like create your own universe?
So for the real Doyeon, she's in there. She can create whatever she wants. She's still there by herself.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know she can get out.
Yeah.
So that's like solitary confinement, X infinity.
Yes.
And then for Liza, she's thrust into the other world, doesn't know if she'll get back. If she does get back, knows that it is likely that she dies unless she is somehow able to change it. And that she's technically not real.
Yeah.
You're asking me which I would rather have.
Yeah.
Obviously, for me, I'd rather be yeeted into a world I don't know.
Yeah.
And have to navigate that challenge.
Which I was surprised by how quickly Liza adapted to the modern world.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Your Throne.
Like a slice of life version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, if that was Isekai, like, give or take, like...
In what ways does it remind you? Do you want to elaborate a little
Maybe the purple. That's a big part.
The purple hair.
and then just, like, general vibes. Like, they're just got, like, I could kill you, but I won't. And, yeah, just bad bitch, you know?
Yeah, it gives me, like, Kimi ni Toroke vibes, you know?
What's that?
Like, it's a Japanese, like, slice of life.
What's English?
Romance.
From Me to You. It was a romance.
Is it the girl that looks like the Grudge?
Yeah. It
okay.
gives me
I
those
know what you're
vibes,
talking
just
about.
like the whole friend group forming around her, stuff like that. You know, was bullied before, wasn't really liked, and then the whole friend group forming around her.
Yeah.
And you start seeing everyone's like characters, the love triangles. It's very like given.
There's a
It's
love
giving
triangle.
shoujo.
Do you guys think they're gonna learn that it's not Doyeon?
Yeah. I think
Oh,
eventually.
yeah, that's something that we never touched on. Only one person knows. Mina, the girl who was bullied.
Yeah.
The other girl who was bullied in her class is the only one who knows that it's her. And I wonder what kind of, like, I don't know, imagine if the person you were talking, like, it's basically being catfished, you know?
It is in catfish.
It's being catfished.
The guy's falling in
They're
love.
both falling in love with her,
Yeah.
and it's not her.
We should place bets on who finds out next. It'll be like Orange High School Host Club with the little light
I
bulbs.
love Warren High School Club. It's so good.
I think Jihit, what's his?
Out of the guys or the
Out of everyone, all the
everyone?
friends.
I think Flora.
You think
Oh,
Flora?
really? I was
That was
thinking,
also gonna be my guess.
Yeah, I think Flora seems kind of like the extroverted preppy girl, but she seems very
She knows
intuitive. She knows
stuff,
what's going
yeah.
on. She seems very intuitive.
I think it's only been because she's been busy, but I
Yeah.
feel like she's gonna be more of a character in the coming chapters.
I think it's gonna be her high childhood guy friend. Who's
Ian?
gonna find out first? Yeah, Ian.
I think.
I'm surprised he hasn't figured out already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you were friends since childhood.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would think that I would know.
If I was someone
Well,
else,
any
my
of
buddy.
us. Yeah, I would know.
Yeah.
We've been friends since second grade. I would
Yeah.
know if you're
Yeah.
And, I'm surprised the brother doesn't know.
right.
Oh yeah.
But I think they're also like really
Had a
they're
bad
heavily-
relationship.
Not that, but they're heavily blaming it on her accident.
Yeah.
What
That's
accident?
true. Remember, she
got
in a
car
car
wreck.
accident.
Oh.
But
That's
I
how
think
it
there was
started.
another accident before that too, because that's when they were like, she started acting different since then.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things are happening, and I feel like we're just in the introduction part. I think it's too early to judge it.
Yeah, it's 25. What 25?
chapters.
Yeah, 20 something.
I would recommend it, but I would also maybe binge it. So
Yeah.
I think I'm
That's true.
just
So you
want to
wanna
wait. Yeah, I just want you want to wait a little bit. Wait for more to come out. But I definitely think it's one of the like binge-worthy, something that's binge-worthy, but not yet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that wraps up our discussion for rewriting the Villainess. Onto our dessert.
if you could be put one of your friends into a different world, what world would it be? I said you, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and I said you, Animal Crossing. Because I was like, I feel like you would really enjoy that.
Oh my gosh, yes. I would love to be yeeted into Breath of the Wild. Make me survive. I would probably die right away, but it'd be fun death.
Because you've collected everything in the game.
Yeah, you have the regression trait.
What's the?
I don't know.
Oh.
From omniscient reader, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, let's get started with our next discussion, our dessert.
Our desserts is... Oh, did you have more to say?
Yeah, what world would you want to go to?
what world?
Avoids the whole question.
How cool.
Well, because you're like, oh, Animal Crossing. I'm like, yeah, that works.
Okay, move on.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Tensura? Oh my gosh,
No.
it's so
Oh,
good.
slime.
It's so funny. I would probably want to be in that world. Honestly, it's so freaking funny. So, another isekai. Was that planned? Maybe it was. What about you?
Oh, Haikyuu. I know. I think.
Oh, yeah, you've said that before.
Yeah, because I just love Haikyuu, and I would want to go to Haikyuu in my high school state. Because if I went now, never mind. Never mind.
What?
No, because
Say it.
no, high school me was like obsessed with Haikyuu. Like, not only a big stan, I was like, oh my god, I could be with one of these characters. No, okay, not me now. Okay, that's kind of like this. Okay,
No,
But
it's okay
back-
to have fictional love interests.
Even if they're minors?
Yeah.
Well, no.
No, see, because back when Haikyuu first came
She's
out,
declining it, you know? She said maybe when she was in high school.
High school you
High school-
you'd be fulfilling high school you's biggest dream. It would be like for the sake of Sita, you would go
I would
back
like
in
out
time.
myself, be like, well, I'm a pedo now, but no, but like, no, because High School season 1 first came out when I was a freshman in high school, so 13,
They've
14.
aged with you now.
Yeah, okay,
That's what I'm saying, right?
With you.
So they're like 27, okay, and let's say give or take, right, in 2023.
Okay.
I'm 24, 23. And so we're like the same age. I don't know. I feel so weird because I won't be with them. Okay, like in their high school state because that's weird. I think that's weird too. But I would want to be in Haikyuu when I'm in high school. But it's even weird too because it's like I'm a body, 13-year-old body with
like
a
Back to You.
23-year-old mind.
Oh, like back to you, yeah.
Yeah. So then it's like, for sake of Sita, it's a guy who's 50 back in his...
Yeah, but past you wouldn't know. Past you would just be thrust into the world.
Oh,
You're making that decision for
oh, if I didn't know, I'll just thrust into... Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. If I didn't have no recollection, yeah,
election.
I'll be thrust. I'll be fine. If I was thrust with no memories and back into my high school body, yeah, I'd go to
I
Haikyuu.
just want everyone to know if that whole rant wasn't enough. Not a pedophile, just a really big fan.
To, like, clarify, I'm not a pedo. I don't like kids, okay? Ew!
Okay, just drop it.
Okay. Can we pass? I feel uncomfy, please.
Moving on.
Okay, on that note, let's get started with our dessert. Tricked into becoming the heroine stepmother. Woo-hoo. A little bit about this webtoon. We're at 42.6 million views. The subscribers are almost at 1 million, but it's not quite there yet. It's at 950,000 numbers. I can't do numbers. And a rating at 9.7. So the synopsis. After her death, Daisy Heidi is reincarnated into the world of Why Did the Duke's Daughter Roll Across the Pumpkin Patch? A so-called tragedy novel where the beautiful heroine Perta indulges in reckless lust and hedonism with 10 ardent suitors to a bitter end. Though Daisy is reborn as a poor commoner in this world, she has one distinct advantage over the others in her second chance at life. She's the author of the original novel. When fate brings Daisy into the lives of the novel's heroine Perta and her dashing father Duke Henstone, Daisy vows to do everything she can to prevent Perta's future of despair.
Dang.
I forgot Pyrrha was like that. She was like living the life.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her. Honestly, I read it before this, so a while ago. I didn't think y'all would be that into it, because I would consider this also slice of life. To be honest,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're just seeing this
Fantasy.
little kid get in trouble and do things they shouldn't be
But
doing.
it's fantasy.
Fantasy slice of life.
How is
though.
it? Because they're like old in older times. when
Yeah.
they were- I just feel like, we should go to the Renaissance Festival then.
Okay.
That's also fantasy. Side note. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I read it. Honestly, I don't think I've read some of the recent chapters. I think it's one of the ones that I keep. They need to get together. And
Yeah.
they keep hinting at it. They clearly both like each other. Even the Duke.
Yeah.
His assistant knows it.
Everyone knows it.
And
So
I kind of want to see it into the future, though. I want to see how it changes the storyline.
I really like the story just because of how lighthearted and how funny it is. I think the characters is what makes this story. So, well, before I get into the next question, what were your first impressions?
I thought it was cute. I like the little kid with the fuzzy hair. She's
Chestnut.
chestnut, very wholesome, and I think it's so funny is that like she will grow up to be like a promiscuous lady who tries to get all these.
I
men.
want that timeline like now.
Yeah, me too.
I like. Okay, I love
Jump
you
ahead.
as a kid, but let's jump ahead a
She's
couple
a
of years.
stepmother, and she's trying to have her not,
Yeah.
be out here.
Mm-hmm.
But good for her. I'm like, can I read that? Can I read a reverse harem now? And with this same like character list? I'd read that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really enjoy the story. It's funny, it's wholesome, it's cute, I love it.
I love it.
We know that the reason why she's at the Duke's household is because they thought that she stole a necklace, even though it's because she wrote the story. She knew that this auction was going on and she had the funds to buy the necklace. But I thought it was interesting that right away she just tells him, like, we're in a novel. I wrote this novel. My friends wrote this novel. I know everything about these characters except for
Like, that was her way to get out.
That was her way to get out. But she just tells him right away, I know everything about this world, about these characters. But what's interesting is that she knows nothing about him because he wasn't mentioned at all in their original story.
Oh yeah.
So
And he's got like a sad backstory too.
Yeah, I'm
Pretty
surprised
sad
that
boy.
all the characters, like I know her and her friends wrote the story, but even though they're written in the story, we don't think about like apart from what was written. Like they're like the king, like you said, it was never written in the story. So then it's just like, are they characters or are they considered like real life people now? Like if you're transported into like Hunger Games, right? And Katniss Everdeen, you don't see her as like an actual person. You just see her as just a character in the book. Would you still be able to fall in love with a character in a book that you were thrust into, or just see them? Oh, this is like 2D, separate.
I feel like you
I think it's a little different though.
Her reality right now.
It's her reality right now. And it's a little bit different because even though she has this presumptuous knowledge of this world that she's in, because of the fact that Hari, the Duke's assistant, and the Duke himself was never written as a solid character in the story, she's basically, like, it's her reality. She's basically learning about this person as if she's just meeting him for the first time. Versus Purta, she was able to win over Purta's trust immediately because she she created the character.
Yeah.
But even then, she created the character and knew her. But like, how much did she know about like baby her?
That's also interesting because they wrote the story, but it's about her adulthood, not about her childhood. So they're like trying to prevent,
What if the Duke is dead? And that's why he's not in the story. What if he dies?
Oh,
that'd be sad.
But like, I just want to know why first of all, why was she transported into the story? What happened to her? And why was she transported into such an early stage of all the characters' lives
before the book even started?
Yeah, versus where they actually started writing.
That's why I'm like, it's kind of like a slice of life. 'Cause it's like not even about what it's about. It's about their life.
Yeah, I guess. But I just want a time jump so bad. Like, just want them to time jump forward. Like, we see them have the wedding when she's a kid, and then they do like 8 years later
I
or
don't think
something
she's
like
gonna
that.
become I don't think she's gonna become like getting all the guys because they changed her. They're changing her.
They're trying to change her future.
So I don't
right
think
now.
she's gonna follow the storyline in the book.
But I feel like she is. Like,
Reverse harm now.
yeah, I feel like there's gonna be something like that they're miscalculating as they're trying to prevent all these men from.
She's got to have at least one suitor.
Yeah, I feel like they're definitely miscalculating. Like, for example, the one kid, I don't know his name, but the kid that got sent overseas, for school. I feel like he's gonna go overseas and come back.
He's gonna be like, I owe you because you did that. I'll protect you.
But the reason why they sent him overseas is because he was supposed to grow up to be a villain. Remember?
Right.
Oh.
So they sent him.
Bad boy.
So they sent him overseas with night training instead of before. He wasn't in night training. They're just involved in like.
But he was supposed to go overseas like when he was older.
No, he wasn't. He was
a bad
supposed to
boy.
grow up to be a villain.
Mafia.
Oh.
Mhm.
Wait, wasn't there
Yeah, part of the
somebody who
mafia.
got sent overseas?
Yeah, it was him.
That was him. Remember? So the guy with the fluffy beard, I don't remember his name.
Oh, yeah, the sheep.
Yeah, the Countess. We'll call him Countess Sheep. Countess Sheep. He didn't realize he had a daughter.
Yeah.
But Daisy, she knew, like, oh, that guy's grandkid grows up to be the main villain in the story.
Right.
But so they were trying to prevent it by reuniting them together, reuniting the Countess and the daughter together, so that the grandchild can grow up in a loving home,
Right.
as opposed to growing up.
I'm just
In the
saying,
mafia.
I feel like they're miscalculating. Like, there's gonna be some sort of plot twist where all these people that they were trying to avoid are gonna come back, and it's gonna be reverse heart. I just want a reverse heart.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, what if the story ends when they get married?
No.
It becomes a stepmother. That's the title.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the title of this webtoon is
Cancel.
Tricked into becoming the heroine's stepmother.
I think, yeah. I'm still thinking about the reverse harm. I'm
I
like,
just want
maybe
the. I want to be in the reverse harm. What's
I
going
wanna
on?
be-
Yeah.
What is this?
Why don't we have suitors?
start the Google form.
I have one of my questions. So think of how Perda and Hadi, which is really funny, how they often scheme together to get the Duke and Daisy together. If you were Perda and we're trying to come up with a plan to be the best wing person for one of us here, what would your plan be?
Be your wing woman?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because what were some of their schemes that they did? That Perda and Hardy did.
That beach thing that didn't work out.
Yeah. That was funny.
I feel like I would do the classic, you're locked in the same room together. Works in like every
In every
anime,
scenario.
every
And
webtoon, like,
Yeah, every cliche.
every
but
cliche. I mean,
do I know that you like this guy?
Yeah.
How close are we to this guy? Are we like friends, or is it like a stranger you met across the room and you're like, oh, I'm interested?
No.
okay, let's say it was I'm not trying to use names and we can cut some stuff out, but let's just say it was pre okay, and like you had to get them and
this is all muted.
A few minutes later.
I think I would just straight out, we're sitting eating, and I'll just tell him, what do you think about and I'm just like, and he'd be like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you like her? He'd be like, yes or no. I'd be like, oh, then you should totally ask her out. Who knows? She might feel the same. Do it. Yeah.
You're
onions
straightforward.
direct.
I mean, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think I'm direct. I don't know. I don't think I've ever tried to wing person any of my friends together.
I guess if I know for sure of each other's feelings, then I'll be like, just do it.
Well, yeah, you'll know because, like, in the same situation that
Yeah,
Perda
yeah.
and Hadi are in, like, they clearly see that they like each other.
Yeah,
so
I'll
you're
go
in
like,
that
do
same
it.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do it. Ask her out.
Very direct. You'd be like, put them in the same room and lock
Yeah.
them in. Yeah, that's very cliche, but it works in the dramas, so I can see why you'd go that route.
In dramas, K-dramas, you both trip them both over and they'd be like touching hands when they grab their stuff.
You're just bullying people. You're like, when they're holding on to like books and papers. And
I
stuff.
would set them both up on a blind date.
But they know each other already though.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, they would be like, oh, I'm gonna put you on a blind date, and then it's with each other.
Or you say something like, oh, do you want to go out to eat with me? With me, and then their friend's like, oh, do you want to go out to eat with me? And their friend, so like, I'd be like, hey, Cash, you want to go out to eat with me and Onion, me and Onion, and then Onion's like to the other person that we're trying to like, you know,
Yeah.
do you want to go out to eat with?
This would not work.
Why?
Have you seen how I dress regularly?
We could say dress pretty. That's a dress entire.
We're trying to
Yeah.
treat ourselves.
Like,
Okay.
oh, treat ourselves.
Yeah, and then we go there. We'd be like, you know, sit at the table, and then we eat.
We eat.
So we have some scheduling thing we gotta do.
Oh shoot!
Oh,
Or we don't
shoot.
even show up. You're just
Dang.
there, and then the other guy's there, and you're like, wait. And then it's a Spider-Man meme, you know, like.
Interesting.
We would not be.
I think we'd all be bad at it.
Yeah, I think we would be bad as a wing person, which is why I like Chestnut's character, because I know that they wrote her as a puppet master. Like that was her personality in the original novel. But it's interesting to see how their schemes kind of play out. Like the one when she drew a heart on the playing cards. And was like, if you get a heart, then you have to kiss the person next to you. I was just like, where is this little girl coming up with these things?
I was so cute. She was just like, let's all sleep in the bed together.
yes.
And they all were sleeping. But she can use her childness to help with it.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, for
she's
sure.
like, that's not awkward. I'm a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
You're weird for thinking that. Yeah.
It gives me like Spy X Family vibes, you know, with the little kid trying to manipulate, or not even manipulate, but Spy X Family, you know, there's Anya who is, I'm trying to make sure like my fake mom and dad are like happy together kind of thing. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah. So the story is definitely more centered around the characters more so. Like the story is important, but it's definitely the characters that bring out the, I guess, wholesomeness and the
charm.
The charm of the story. Who is each of your favorite characters?
That's a hard one.
I mean, you can't not like Chestnut. So should we all be like, no Chestnut?
Oh yeah, except for Chestnut.
I'd say Hattie. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's just like always there for the Duke, but also really there for not only Chestnut, but also
The
Daisy.
games.
Yeah, he's just there for everyone.
I would agree. I'd second that. I think he's got good vibes.
Mm-hmm. I was afraid before there would be some love triangle situation with Daisy, but there wasn't, and I was so glad. I was just like, thank goodness there isn't some love triangle. But now there's a kind of love triangle with the prince.
Yeah, I guess for my favorite character, well, my favorite character was Chestnut, but I think the character I'm most interested in knowing more about would be the Duke, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we figure out early on in the story, well, maybe not early on, it's a little bit like mid-story, that he's not actually Chestnut's dad.
Yeah.
Chestnut is his older sister's daughter.
So uncle.
So he's the uncle. So I'm like wanting to understand more of his backstory a little bit.
And why are they framing it that he is her father instead of saying like, it's just, you know, still family, it's uncle, like that's my niece kind of thing. Even though everyone in the palace knows he's the uncle, but outwardly, everyone in the kingdom believes that he's, like the actual father figure.
Who's the real father?
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, who is?
How did Chestnut's mom die again?
It doesn't say.
disclose?
Just says she dead. That's it. So that's where I'm interested in. Not necessarily like my favorite character is definitely Chestnut, but I'm interested in the Duke's backstory. Again, like where's the real dad?
Yeah.
Why is he the father figure? Why did he have to become the father figure? We know that his sister died, but then what?
Yeah, where's his real dad? We don't know if the real dad died. It never said straight out. Weird.
What do you guys think about this love triangle that's happening with the Prince Glenn?
Don't like it.
You don't like the prince character, or you just
No,
don't
he's
like the love
fine. I don't like the
character?
triangle. Like the Duke and Daisy need to be together. I'm team double D. I'm team taken. I'm team Duke and Daisy.
Got it now. It took a while.
I don't think the prince is a bad person.
No, he's not. Just go love someone else, please.
I think it's interesting. Because we're getting a perspective of the story so early on. The prince's younger brother is supposed to be one of Chestnut's suitors, so they're getting in early right away. But then we realize, Prince Glenn, the first prince, is around Daisy's age and has shown interest.
Sometimes you just need some competition to get the game going.
That's true. Maybe
Because they both clearly like each other, but there's no push, you know.
Yeah, right. This
Yeah.
is the push.
Like they're just all focusing on Chestnut's future. So that's literally on their whole mind 24/7.
Does she not care to get back to her real life?
Well, she died in her real life.
Oh,
I think that was explained in the beginning.
I don't remember it.
I don't
It was
remember
really
that.
quick, like, she died, and now she has a second chance at
Was
life.
it like a car accident?
Yeah, it's something, cliche
Okay.
for the isekai.
okay.
So
For the
she doesn't
isekai.
need to get back to her real life because her real life is no longer. So this is her now life.
That's crazy.
Any final thoughts?
Good. Take a read.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's interesting that you thought that I wouldn't like this.
Oh yeah, I want to hear more about that.
Y'all just haters for love.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should make a count how many times you said I hate romance.
No,
Yeah,
it's not
honestly.
it's not that I don't like romance. It's like romance needs to be with something. It can't just be strictly romance. So this is romance with isekai, with fantasy, comedy, rom-coms. I can do rom-coms because at least it's funny. Yeah. But Seasons of Blossom.
No! Jeez, no, God, no. Okay, if we're gonna okay, it's romance. It's sad. It's it's heartwarming. It's
boring.
No, you only read season 1. Have you read season 2? I don't think so.
Okay.
Back me up.
Yes. What I just said.
Okay, anyway, it needs to be romance with something else. This is romance mixed with fantasy, isekai, all those great genres, rom-com, we love it. Heartwarming, wholesome, funny kid, there's what's not to love. But
Romance.
if it's slice of life romance only, those two genres, I'm just kind of like, I live life too. I don't need to read your life either.
This kind of brings in the Villainess one and then this current one. Would you want to be isekai'd into a world like tricked into becoming the hero and stepmother? Mm-hmm. Or would you want to be isekai'd into doujin situation where you're living the life of somebody else?
Tricked into becoming the hero and stepmother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at least that's your life to keep after you put on all your effort.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
That and who wouldn't want to be classy?
Well, anyway, very excited for this story. This is on hiatus right now, so we don't really know when it's going to come back up. But it's definitely not over yet. I can see the story going I guess a lot of places, but right now it's focusing on Chestnut's.
Reverse harem, hopefully.
Yeah, Chestnut's
we need
life,
that.
But it seems like the consensus of opinion is that we want to see Perda grow up and
Still
begin
have
the
her
story. Begin the story that
they wrote.
Yeah, Daisy and her friends wrote.
I want to see how much Daisy was wilding. Because I'm like, that must be inspired from something.
11 authors.
Yeah, maybe we should do something like that.
We should.
I wonder what kind of characters you'd write.
Oh my goodness, we should actually. Anyway.
But anyway, to wrap that up, this was the 5th episode of The Heated Table, and I'm glad that you guys are still sticking around. We'll see you next time. I don't know when that will be, but we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Make sure to like, comment, and